November 18th regular board meeting. It's 7:30 after that, and I call the meeting to order. At this time, I would ask you to join me in the pledge of the flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome. I want to thank each of you for coming this evening and to wanting to share not only in the environment of the school board meeting, but also if you wish to speak. If you're going to speak, there are yellow cards in the back. You need to fill one of them out and bring them forward to Donna, and she collects them, and then I will read and give each of you a chance to do that. At this time, we have some student staff recognition and board reports. Evelyn Hippensteel is going to present some information about our high school and the school system. Evelyn?
Good evening. My name is Evelyn Hippensteel, and I'm a 12th grader at Big Spring High School. On behalf of the student body, I'm going to be presenting to you some events and activities that are happening in our school. As you may know, the volleyball team has had a very successful season. Some key players, Layla Chestnut, Kira Eisenberg, Abby Dyson, and Lindsay Motter paved the way for the volleyball team to make it to the state semifinals. Unfortunately, they lost in the state semifinals, but they did make school history and they played very well. Another thing I'd like to tell you is that Maslin Enck, the goalie of the Big Spring High School girls soccer team, is currently ranked 28th in the nation for soccer goalies, which is a big achievement, and that is not seen as much in this area. The marching band placed second at the Cavalcade of Bands Championship with a score of 87.35, winning their first ever silver medal and placed the highest that they ever have in that championship. Big Spring High School Music Department had a fall concert. It was the band, and they have a winter concert on December 17th at 7 o'clock. Big Spring Tempest Leo Club, FFA, Dog Pound, and NHS came together to put together a drive for Hurricane Helene, those affected by Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. We filled 2.5 semi-trucks full of donations at the football game. I forget the date, but it was at a football game on Friday. Minithon is putting together a No Shave November competition between teachers and students. Students and faculty can donate in cans, and they can donate in cans and see who the winners are. Dr. Carnes, our principal, is participating. Mr. Four, a math teacher, is participating. Mr. Gutschall, our social studies teacher, is participating. Mr. Kump, a health and physical education teacher, is participating. And our students, Kevin Schweitzer and Dustin Reyes, are participating as well. Some of our Big Spring High School VOTEC students are achieving great things. Our nursing students are at clinicals this week to achieve their CNA, which is a Certified Nursing Assistant certification, where they can then use that to get jobs at local nursing homes in the area to be a nursing assistant. And last but not least, we had our Veterans Day ceremony held by the Tempest Leo Club on Monday, November 11th. It went very well. Students were very respectful, and we had many veterans come in and be supported. Following that, on December 6th at 8 a.m., we have a Veterans Day brunch where veterans and their spouses can come and enjoy a wonderful brunch, along with the chamber choir giving a performance for them as well. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone, for that report. We look forward to seeing you in the future. And thank you for all the great things that are happening within our school. At this time, do we have the reading of correspondence? Very good. Recognition of visitors. Please sign in on the clipboard for tonight's meeting. Very important. We know who's here. And at this time, we will move into public comment period. I have a list of cards here that a lot of you have submitted. I do want to make a few comments about public comment period. Public comment is a time that you can share your views or ideas on things that are relevant to the school. They should be either on the agenda or they should be related directly to the school. We will not allow any names to be used. That is not good that someone's character is being questioned. So if it gets to the point a person's name is being used, I will stop the public comment of that individual. We might go to executive session, but we will not be using people's names and discussing them in this public forum. Also, as you give your comments, they should be no more than 3 minutes in length. There is a time that we can stop public comment, that there is a limit on the amount of time that we have for public comment in the meeting. Hopefully we won't reach to that. If your name is read and you want to give public comment, and you feel someone before you has shared your views, you could decline to give at that time. And I hope that we will have a very positive civil discourse during the public comment period, because that is the time for you to share, for us to listen, and for us to make sure that we understand what your view is on a particular topic. We as board members are volunteers. We are here to serve the community and serve you, and it's important that we understand what you're thinking and what you want to share. Any questions on public comment? Okay, at this time, Rosie McCray would like to speak.
Good evening. This evening I will be sharing comment on behalf of Logan Schulenberger, a 2012 Big Spring graduate and an active duty officer in the United States Army. This comment is regarding the ongoing discussions within our community about the global empathetic citizen piece of the Big Spring profile of a graduate. I rarely comment on issues like this, but I feel it's important to hopefully provide some perspective on the matter. A global empathetic citizen is not the same as global citizenship. Some quick research will show you that. I was born and raised in Newville, graduating from Big Spring in 2012. As a current active duty Army officer, I have been deployed to combat 3 times, once to Afghanistan and twice to Iraq and Syria. I would not be able to do my job effectively and honorably without global empathy. Global empathy is understanding that the citizens of the United States do not have the same worries or concerns as those in the Middle East. Parents taking their little girls to school in the U.S. do not have to worry about their little girls being rounded up by the Taliban or ISIS and executed in the town square in front of their parents, all because they were caught reading a book. Or teachers being executed for teaching women. Or women being thrown in jail for showing their face, men executed for showing any allegiance to the U.S. in hopes of providing a better life for their family. It's impossible to not have empathy for those people, and I will gladly fight for that. I can assure you the morals and values that we pride ourselves for instilling into our youth here at Big Spring extend far beyond the 4 walls of the school and far beyond the city limits of Newville. It's in our alma mater. Fellowship makes love grow deeper. I use those Big Spring values every day. That's why I'm proud, and we are proud, and should be proud, that our students can love others and see things from the perspective of others who look different and believe different things. It makes for a much better world. Thank you. And thank you, Logan, for your continued service to our country, your dedication to our community, and your thoughtful input on this matter.
Thank you, Rosie, for your comments. John Fisher, please.
My name is John Fisher. I'd like to say a prayer over this meeting, so let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for the privilege that we have to talk with you. You are the Almighty God. We ask that you would put your presence upon this meeting. We pray that you would be with every board member, every administration member, be with everyone of this community. Lord, you know there may be times of disagreement. We pray, O God, that you would provide unity. And we thank you, O God, that we can come to you and invite you to help us in these circumstances. Thank you again for what you're going to do. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, John. Courtney Rickerball, please.
Woody Allen once said that 90% of life is showing up. And I'm here this evening to share how our district administration demonstrated that quote in full force during this year's historic volleyball season. Big Spring fans show up for the district's events. Big Spring fans cheer on athletes and musicians and scholars, students of all ages at a wide variety of activities, here at home on our fields, in our gym, in our pool, in our auditoriums, and in our hallways. And just like attendance here this evening is a choice and takes time, so does attending the myriad of events happening all around our district every day. But traveling to other districts to support students, that's extra effort. And that's exactly what many seated in the front-facing seats did. They drove. They showed up. They came and cheered on this year's history-making volleyball team in gyms not in our area code. The team noticed. The players' parents noticed. I'm the parent of a player, and I'm also a district employee, and I noticed. To live and work in a district where the upper administration gives up a Thursday evening one week to travel over an hour to Garden Spot High School to cheer the team on to victory, then drives 2 hours to Cardinal O'Hara High School outside Philadelphia the next Tuesday to do the same, both on school nights no less, is exemplary. But they didn't stop there. They got back in their vehicles on their time off, a Saturday, to travel to Exeter Township High School, which is over an hour and a half away, to once again raise their voices and clap their hands as the team wrote their way into the record books. For what would be their final match of the season, the state semifinals at Cocalico High School, the stands were again filled with our faithful administrative team fan base. Dr. Grante and his son, Dr. Sanders, Mrs. Donato, and Dr. Carnes donned their maroon and gold and cheered loudly and proudly in support of the Lady Bulldogs. To know the town rallied around them matters. To know that their peers were cheering them on matters. To know that their district lined the sidewalks to send them off with applause matters. And to know that those who make decisions that affect them, both on and off the court, cared enough to travel to cheer them on matters. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you, Courtney. Laura Kaufman, please.
This letter was sent to Board President Mr. Wardle and forwarded to all board members. Craig J. Staudenmeyer of Council, Cohen, Seglius, Pallas, Greenhall, and Furman, PC, September 25th, 2024. Dear Mr. Wardle, I represent Laura Kaufman, a resident and taxpayer within the Big Spring School District. Ms. Kaufman has consulted with and retained me to review information she has gathered through various right-to-know requests concerning whether the school board has followed the mandates of the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. As I am certain you and the other board members are aware, the Sunshine Act guarantees the right of the public to be present at all meetings of agencies and to witness the deliberation, policy formulation, and decision-making of agencies. When enacting the Sunshine Act, the General Assembly of Pennsylvania held that its purpose was vital to the enhancement and proper functioning of the democratic process, and that secrecy in public affairs undermines the faith of the public in government and the public's effectiveness in fulfilling its role in a democratic society. In order to guarantee this right, the Act requires that official action and deliberation by a quorum of the members of an agency shall take place at a meeting open to the public, unless subject to one of the rare exemptions permitted for executive sessions. Official action includes recommendations made by an agency pursuant to statute, ordinance, or executive order, the establishment of policy, decisions on agency business, and votes taken. Deliberation is the discussion of agency business held for the purpose of making a decision. Thus, any time an agency like the school board takes official action or deliberates, those occurrences must occur in the context of a public meeting in accordance with the requirements of the Sunshine Act. Ms. Kaufman has recently obtained documents in response to a right-to-know request indicating that certain actions are occurring by email, in particular which constitute deliberation or official action. These emails reveal that in July of this year, emails were exchanged by various board members concerning a certain policy of the district regarding the global citizen component of the district's profile of a graduate, along with certain recommendations regarding its amendment. After an initial email on the subject, a total of 5 board members engaged in deliberation on the suggested amendments, constituting a quorum of members deliberating on a policy of the district and its potential amendment, which clearly constitutes deliberation and official action to the extent it involved the revelation of how those members would vote on such a proposal. Fortunately, it does not appear that this policy has been acted upon yet by the board outside the context of a public meeting. However, the purpose of this letter is to advise the board that such action must take place in the context of a public meeting where the public can view the discussion and decision-making of the board and may not occur by email under the provisions of the Act. As I am sure you and the board members are also aware, the Sunshine Act provides for various penalties should a violation occur. If you are not familiar with these provisions, I would invite you to review the provisions of Act 65. I am aware that Pennsylvania School Board Association provides excellent training on the provisions of the Sunshine Act and would encourage your board to participate in that training as soon as possible. Should similar actions as outlined above occur in the future, my client will consider what options are available to her under the Sunshine Act to end such actions. Very truly yours, Craig Stoudemire. I do not feel it is a good use of taxpayer money to participate in a lawsuit due to the current board members' refusal to take ownership of their ignorance. However, there are community members waiting for the opportunity to sue the current board, and they will not be financing their legal team by selling hoagies.
Thank you, Laura. Mary Franco, please.
Good evening, and I want to, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to thank all the directors for the time and dedication they give to our school district. My name is Mary Franco. I live in Lower Frankfort Township, and I'm the mother of 2 Big Spring graduates. I'm here to speak in opposition to the petition that has been going around to remove the term global empathic citizen from the profile of a graduate. As the website clarifies, this phrase refers to treat others as they want to be treated, recognize that all decisions impact others, understand the rights and responsibilities of a citizen at local, state, national, and global levels, are informed citizens with an awareness of issues and events that impact people at local, state, national, and global levels, and make sensible financial choices. That's it. To suggest that something as benign as the golden rule, or being informed about the larger world around us, or understanding the responsibilities of citizenship, or having empathy for others, and making sensible financial choices can be construed as somehow unpatriotic is patently wrong. The qualities described here do not teach our children to hate their country or pledge allegiance to another country. In other words, it is possible to be an American patriot, to love and care deeply about your own country, and also be concerned with the well-being of people all around the world. One does not negate the other. I urge the board to ignore this petition and retain the global empathic citizen in the profile of a graduate. As a world-famous physician and scientist once said, "I don't know how to explain to you that you should care for other people." Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. William Piper.
Good evening, President Wardle, Superintendent Grante, members of the administration, members of the Board of School Directors, and members of the public. If you have not had an opportunity to read Laura Kaufman's letter to the editor in the November 13th Valley Times, I highly suggest that you read it. On November 5th, General Election Day, I observed a member of our community for 5 or 6 hours at the lower precinct in West Pennsboro Township polling location, approaching voters, attempting to get them to sign a petition. Apparently that petition stated that Big Spring school students are being taught that they are global citizens. I am holding in my hand a copy of that flyer that was given to potential voters at that poll on Election Day. The heading reads, And I quote, this is the quote, "Do you know that students in Big Spring School District are being taught that they are global citizens? 3 question marks. Is your child a global citizen or a United States of America citizen? Question mark." End quote. I'm a farmer. I don't know if anyone realizes it or not, but agriculture in this United States imports and exports huge amounts of grain products on a daily basis: corn, wheat, soybeans, barley, and other commodities. Unit prices of these commodities are set daily by the global world marketplace. This is what I and every other farmer gets paid for upon what we produce. If farmers in this country would not have the ability to export grain, farming would end in a few short years in this United States. We cannot be isolationists. Relative to Mrs. Kaufman's article, when the 6 C's profile of a graduate was developed with input from thousands of ideas from residents of our school district, I was proud to have been a member of this school board. I believe the profile of a graduate is highly supported by our staff, is recognized by other districts throughout this region as well as around this Commonwealth, and additionally has served our students well. This district is teaching our students to be prepared for workplace, a chosen vocation, or higher education to compete with other students from throughout the nation, not just Newville. I see no reason to change the wording in the profile of a graduate. Additionally, I am asking that Mr. Wardle, Mrs. Booth, our secretary of our board, Dr. Grante, forward to me a signed letter dated no later than 2 weeks from tonight's meeting stating if and or where in the curriculum that Big Spring School District is teaching that our students are global citizens as is stated in the handout. And as described in the handout. I have a copy of the flyer for your information. So if you would please respond to me in 2 weeks, if you would please, according to what it states in this handout, and I have copies where we're teaching that our students are being taught that they're global citizens. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Foreman? Sure.
Mr. Piper, how many people actually voted for Global Citizen on the Thought Exchange? How many people actually voted for Global Citizen on the Thought Exchange? How many? Yep. There was 1,891 people that participated in the Thought Exchange, but only 9 people participated in that particular thought. 9 people. Not 1,891, 9. Bring up A2.
Carly White, please.
Good evening.
Objection.
Yes.
There's a distraction on the screen while we're trying to have public comments.
Okay, thank you. Objection noted. Please remove what's on the screen. Go ahead. Thank you, Carly, for being patient.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me this time to speak. My name is Carly White, and I graduated from Big Spring in 2020. I was involved in the softball program my entire high school career, and even before that. After graduation, I began coaching for the high school, but this has unfortunately come to an end due to my employment since graduating college. That being said, I have a long history with and pride in the softball program here. I have had many successful seasons and long-lasting memories that have come from this program that I fear moving forward the girls to come will not get to leave with. I recently heard the news of the potential new coach for the JV program and would like to take a moment to share my thoughts about this potential new hire. I do not believe that this is a positive direction to take for the program as a whole. Girls I have coached for many years through travel ball, girls who love this sport so much who have always wanted to wear bulldogs across their chests while playing it, are now feeling hurt that they may not get the chance. Additionally, girls who have given years to this program already will walk away if this hire goes through. Many of these girls have been coached by her previously, still working through negative impacts of those experiences. I believe that there are times to be tough and to push kids to make them better, but there is a difference between the criticism that has to come with coaching and putting kids down. However, I have witnessed instances that were far from constructive criticism. I will not name the names of children who have come to me, as they deserve their privacy and the right to come forward on their own terms, if they wish. But they are in the age group where they can play high school softball or will be up in the coming years. Many families have also expressed their hesitancy to come forward out of fear of repercussions. Organizations have removed this person due to poor treatment of children and look for the organization, something I don't feel we need in this district. The amount of girls in this age group who have expressed to me their intent to not return or walk away if they don't make varsity because they do not want to play for her is alarming and should be considered. The reality is there may not be enough JV players, and the JV program is incredibly important. Additionally, I feel it is important to acknowledge that there are people out there who have not had a negative experience. The argument of, well, it didn't happen to me, occurs often in these situations. However, I feel the sheer number of people, of children, who have had these experiences certainly should play a role in the decision. Just because some people have had positive experiences does not mean that their negative experiences matter any less. And the recency of many of these actions are incredibly relevant as well. I have nothing to gain from you not approving this hire. I have nothing to lose if you do. But so many girls have everything to lose, and that is why I am standing here. I truly believe this decision would hurt the outcome of this program long term. I know many young girls will be hurt by this choice. I hope you choose to seriously consider the lasting impact this can have, and even choose to table this decision for now. It is far more important to make the right choice than it is to make the quick one. The impact of a good coach lasts a long time, but the impact of a bad one lives with you even longer. Thank you.
Thank you, Carly. Macy Lehman, please.
It has come to my attention that tonight you are recommending extra duty personnel section 9E for the JV head softball coach. My name is Lacey Lehman, and I have been playing softball for 13 years, since I was 5 years old. My love for the sport has only grown the longer I have played. Out of all the years I have played the sport I have come to love, this is the only time I have considered walking away from it completely. If the idea of one person coaching can make girls who have been playing for most of their lives choose to walk away from the sport they love, there is definitely a problem. Multiple teammates of mine have the same feelings as me when it comes to this topic. The reason that so many players are against this decision is how her reputation precedes her. The treatment of players and her actions. To me, the sport I have loved for a long time is not worth the mental stress or anxiety that comes from her coaching. As an upperclassman in the softball program, please take into consideration all I have said when making a decision on whether or not to appoint the head JV softball coach. I personally have seen what a bad coach can do to one team and an entire organization. Think of the softball program and the damage that could come from this decision. I also have something from Emma Rice, who is currently at home recovering from wisdom teeth surgery. I have been playing softball my whole life. From the very moment I was able to pick up a bat, I fell in love with the sport, and I would never have thought that I would be walking away from high school softball after many years of playing the sport I have loved. But it's not just the thrill of the sport that makes it my happy place, it's the people around it as well, my teammates and my coaches. When looking for the right team, you not only want to find a positive atmosphere with other girls, you also want to find a coach that promotes teamwork, is respectful, and shows a strong work ethic. A coach who is a leader and will continue to drive the excitement and thrill into the sport you so deeply love. I believe this person is not the person you want to represent the JV softball team and will not bring those qualities of a good coach to the table. In my past experiences, I have noticed that she does not have leadership qualities and has shown to be disrespectful to players. I don't want that as a coach, and I'm sure you wouldn't want that either. I would not want to be a part of that team, no matter how much I love softball. That is a coach that will bring down a team, not build one up. In these past 2 years, my experience with the softball program as a whole is not good. Travel softball and high school softball are supposed to be two different things, but it sure doesn't look like it. Currently, we have coaches who are affiliated with travel ball organizations, and that's what makes them biased. If you don't play for them on their team, then you're not good enough in their eyes. No matter how hard you work, and it's not fair to me and other girls. It makes the love that you have for your sport fade, and it fades fast. Those coaches are destroying the softball program and causing players to leave left and right. If our school wants to have a biased, disrespectful, and drama-filled environment in our sports teams, then continue to do what we are doing to our athletic programs. But I am here to tell you that there are others that are better qualified and are better suited for this softball coaching position. If we want students to continue to be student athletes, we need to think carefully of those we choose as good leaders and coaches. Thank you for your time and attention.
Anne Marie and Katie McCullough. Thank you, Lacey, for your comments and members' comments.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anne Marie. I am not a Big Spring graduate. I moved to this area close to 20 years ago, but I've lived in Newville for about 5 years, and I do consider this my hometown. I don't know what it is about Newville, but I love this area. I've felt a sense of belonging here. And this is my daughter, Katie. We are here also to address the issue of the proposed JV softball coach. It was just brought to my attention last night that one or more members of the board were cautioned to be aware of this person. And to that I say, be aware of what? Because some concerns were expressed here tonight. Everything that I read was extremely vague and was posited by people who admitted that they did not know this person personally. They were going off of what they had heard. As the last speaker said, her reputation precedes her, and I can't disagree with that. She has a strong personality. If you do know her personally, I will tell you what you need to be aware of. Be aware that she will hold our players accountable for their actions on and off the field. Be aware that she will push them to realize their fullest potential, in some cases potential they did not even realize they had in them. Be aware that she will support them, not just on the field, but off. She will ask them how their grades are. She will ask them that fight that they had with their best friend last week. How are things going? Did you work it out? Be aware that she will teach them life lessons that will carry them beyond graduation, beyond the diamond, and on the topic of being global citizens, perhaps even beyond the bounds of this town, this state, or this country. I am not discounting anyone's experiences. My daughter had her own bad experience with a softball coach, with a travel team. I get it. I've seen a lot in our years of being in youth sports, and it is a shame sometimes what the adults involved in sports do. All I'm asking is that you give this person a chance. If you do not know this person personally, introduce yourself and say, I want to sit down and talk to you, because I can tell you this person and I do not always see eye to eye. Women with strong personalities tend to be that way. But at the end of the day, I know I can always say, we need to sit and talk about this, and we will. And it's always fair. This person always listens, and this person always is happy to clarify why they did what they did, why they said what they said, and why they believe what they believe. And now I would like to turn the rest of this time over to my daughter, Katie.
I'm Katie, and I've spent more time on the field with this coach than I have with my friends and family. She's like a parent to us. She pushes us to be the best because she cares, and she even shows it. She shows respect for the players as well as the other coaches, and shows how she cares.
That's it?
Thank you both for your comments.
Thank you for your time.
Jason Kachera. Jason, please.
Hello, respectfully, in the name of time, I'd like to have the girls that were here to speak go first. If there's time, I can speak at the end. Is that fair?
That's fair, sir, yes.
Thank you.
Sarah Annie, excuse me, my apologies.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Ank. My daughter Maslin is a senior on the girls' soccer team. She's been playing soccer since early elementary school, and I have loved every minute of being a soccer mom and the family that this has created. My purpose in addressing you tonight is to share my thoughts on recent events that have affected our soccer family. In Maslin's 10th grade year, Coach Jason Kachera moved from an assistant coach to the head coach position. At first, I'm not going to lie, the players were not completely receptive to his new coaching style. They were challenged to meet newly set personal standards, and the idea of that was frustrating and scary to them. But as he knew they would, the girls started to come around and meet those standards, and in most cases surpass what they thought they could do. It turns out they could do hard things after all, and he knew it. Slowly, the tide started to turn, and they began to take to his style and respect him as their leader. That same year, the team was one win away from playoffs. They had more wins that season than any other season before. Historically, the Big Spring girls soccer team has not been a championship team. But as Coach Kachera teaches his players, winning is a byproduct of other aspects like work ethic, commitment, dedication, working together, trust, exposure, and development. These things take time, but I can assure you that those things were showing in this team. We have a team that, although there were bumps in the road, as with all groups of teenagers, they got along. They were tight and they had each other's backs. Their goals scored quadrupled from last season, and even in the losses, their confidence had increased. Yes, winning is great, but it is not everything. A few weeks ago, Coach Kachera was informed that his position would be opened up to new candidates. He was given the option to resign, which he never wanted to do as he thinks that is quitting on his team and he never would, or to reapply. This whole scenario seems odd in that when you work in the real world, you are given verbal warnings, even written warnings, before you have your position revoked. This was not the case with Coach Kachera. The team met just 1 week before that at our end-of-season banquet, and he talked excitedly about next season and the plans that he had for the returning players. He and our assistant coach, Justin Long, expressed their sincere thoughts on how the players had grown, both in their personal character and their playing skills. In fact, we had 2 girls make a mid-pen all-star team. They were looking ahead, and the revoking of their positions was a complete blindside. Again, I understand that winning is important, but I want to stress to you that along with the importance of winning is also the importance of who has influence on our children. Coach Kachera has unquestionable character and has committed so much time and effort into the development of these girls as players, but more than that, as people. People who will head into this world and make their mark, hopefully as caring, compassionate individuals who have been taught to trust in the fact that they can indeed do hard things and should strive to do just that. I know that at this point, Coach Kachera is not looking to be given his position back, as that bridge has already been burned. But I want you all to know that we as a team strongly disagree with the way this man was dismissed. Sadly, Big Spring, you just lost out on not 1, but 2 good coaches, and that is a shame. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Jen Long, please.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me this time to speak. I am the mother of freshman soccer player Kennedy Long. My family have been members of the Big Spring community for the last 16 years, and that is something I am very proud of. See, I think I have a unique perspective because I have been an educator in other districts. I've seen and experienced the struggles of their administration, professional staff, coaches, school families, and community members. What we have here at Big Spring is special. The experiences my children have had in both their education and athletic endeavors have been so impactful and have helped to shape them into the awesome young people they are. And now a teacher at this district, I get to be an even bigger part of this community and hasn't disappointed at all. When people ask me where my kids go to school or where I work, I am always proud to say Big Spring. What I am not proud of is what is happening to our soccer program and the amazing coaches who have dedicated their time to these girls and this team. I'm sickened by the attacks on our coaches, our athletic programs, and one another on social media. This is a far bigger issue and concern than just girls soccer, and I'm not going to stand here and add to that negativity. What I am going to share is the positive impact my child has gained by playing school sports at Big Spring. Kennedy has been playing soccer for many years and under many different coaches, but Coach Kuchera is the first one to take the time to truly get to know her, to see her strengths and areas of struggle both as a player and as a person. There aren't words to express the growth I have seen in Kennedy both as a player and a person under the guidance of this year's coaches. They challenged and supported her, and as a parent, that means more to me than any school record or sports stat. I, too, live the world of high school athletics and understand the importance and stress put on winning. But when your own daughter asks you through tear-filled eyes, why does winning matter so much? I thought this was supposed to be fun. We're not pro soccer players. We're just kids. How do I respond to that? How do I explain why the coaches she's grown to respect and appreciate are being asked to leave the team? So if it's stats that are so important, maybe someone should ask about these ones. How many sleepless nights did our coaches spend trying to figure out the best lineups or worrying about our girls? Too many to count. How many emails did they send to check in, encourage, or remind? Endless. How many yo-yos did they run with the girls? Scrimmages did they play and runs did they go on? More than most coaches would even think to do with their players. How many hours did they spend on the phone with one another, or times did they meet up to plan and strategize? Time away from their own families they will never get back, but would give away again in a heartbeat for these girls. How many people stepped up when the assistant coaching positions were posted last year? 1, my husband. How many people stepped up this year when the remaining assistant coaching position was posted? 0. So I have to ask, why after only 3 years as head coach would Jason Kuchera be asked to resign? I've done my research. Our program is improving. So what is the ulterior motive here? Because clearly there is one, or a coach who is loved and respected by so many, who is growing a program and is clearly dedicated and passionate about coaching, wouldn't be asked to leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane, for your comments. Madeline, please.
Good evening. My name is Maslin Ank, and I'm a Big Spring High School senior. I have been involved with the Big Spring soccer program for over 10 years. I am here today to discuss how our current head coach, Jason Kuchera, has improved my experience in Big Spring girls soccer. For the love. Coach Kuchera has always told us that soccer is more of a mental challenge rather than a physical game. Being a freshman, starting in goal, and competing against some girls who have had D1 scholarships lined up since the beginning of their high school careers was never short of a daunting task. At times, I would feel so pressured to never make mistakes and to always perform at honestly unreachable standards that I had set for myself. Doubt, as well as depression and anxiety, began to set in when I would think about the scores of our games. However, I have known that if I ever doubted myself, I could talk to Coach Kuchera about my skills, what I need to improve, or even some last-minute advice or motivation. He always had some sort of quote or YouTube video that was perfect for how I was feeling. When Coach was announcing that he could either resign or have the position open to the public, he told us that he would never resign because quitting on us was not an option. Therefore, I refused to quit on him. 1% better each day. When I look back to my sophomore year and junior year, I remember being apprehensive during preseason. I was scared that I wasn't going to be enough for my teammates, that I would let them down if I wasn't able to block a shot or punt the ball far enough down the field. Coach Kuchera wants us to be 1% better every day because that is enough. There are always going to be mistakes made and times we are out of position on the field. But if we can improve 1% at a time, we are going to be unstoppable someday. His coaching methods and standards were different, but they were consistent with what he believed in. He believed in each of us. I can't tell you that we became first in our division because of Kuchera. I can't tell you that we have the most possession out of any teams in our division. I can't tell you that I'm the #1 goalie in Mid-Penn Capital Division because of Kuchera. Oh, wait, I actually did accomplish that. Because of Kuchera's leadership and guidance, I've been able to feel more secure and confident in my goal on the field. Being a goalie was never easy for me, but knowing that Kuchera has constantly encouraged me to keep fighting for the sport and position I love, I was able to reach high achievements. Because of him, I was able to lead my team this year in a captain position. If we are always taught to lead by example, I could not think of someone who would lead our team to greater heights than Coach Jason Kuchera. With this being said, the recent events that have transpired in relation to his position on our team, both on social media and in person, has made me reflect on my time as a Bulldog soccer player. We are a family in this community. Family respects each other, builds each other up, and helps when you're going through something. The way he was approached and told about his position coming to an end without prior warnings or conversations is something of a dysfunctional, divided bureaucracy. This is not who we are. We need to do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Kylie, Zach, please.
Hello. Hello, my name is Kylie Zach. I'm a senior here at Big Spring High School. I'm here with the girls soccer team to discuss about what's going on with our coach. This is Big Spring girls soccer. This is family. We have been through so much together, having coaches leave and gaining new ones to see what they have to offer. But one thing that will never change is the love and support that we have for Coach Kuchera. I don't know where to begin with this. On Friday, November 8th, the other players and I went to a meeting. We all had a feeling that Coach Kuchera wasn't going to continue coaching here, because we all thought it was for health-related problems. But till we were brought to literal tears for what he had to say next. The fact that a director of athletics and student activities has the obligation to say that we have not met the criteria that he has for us is insane. We all know that Coach Kuchera would never give up on us, no matter what the circumstances are. When we go into games, we go into knowing that we're going to have fun playing with each other. We don't go in for the goals or for the saves. We don't even think about the scoreboard. Coach has taught us better than that. Doesn't matter if we're losing 0-1 or 0-10. It's the little goals that matter. It's our passing. It's our communication with each other on the field. And if we're even having fun. This is high school soccer. We're not going to be the best in the league. While majority of our losses are due to having 13 eligible players to compete against an opposing team with a JV and varsity team, using refreshed players against our exhaust ones. Nobody puts in hard work and dedication like us. When we lost Zoe Bowermaster, a senior on our team, a crucial part in our defensive line, to an ACL and meniscus tear, he was there to help us and knew exactly what we needed to do to keep on pushing. It is not about the stats or the scores. It's the fact that he's always had positivity and hope for our team. I and the rest of the seniors were the first group of girls that he got to coach that are still here on the team. And I wouldn't be able to move forward to continue to play at a college level at Cookstown University without him there. This man has always been looking for ways for us to improve. New drills, new videos of encouragement, driving vans to games because the athletics didn't have a bus for us, to paying for dinners after wins. We have had coaches leave without any explanation. At least Kuchera has the guts to tell us that he's being fired because he never wanted to give up on us. I know that this does not affect me personally because I will be graduating this year, but this has an effect on all of us no matter what, and it is just wrong. Coach Kuchera has had an impact on all of our lives. He was there for me whenever I needed colleges or references for colleges and jobs. He's always been a key part of this team on and off the field. And I just don't think that it's fair for this to happen. All of our athletes in all programs are special in their own way. And I know that we're not going to be the best in the league, but it's really surprising because it's not a shocker. I'm not really caring about being the best in the league. I'm having fun. Yeah. And then we're supposed to be ever always strong in a loving, supporting community, but this is not strong nor loving at all right now. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Evelyn Hippensteel. I'm here on behalf of the girls soccer team. I'm a senior here at Big Spring High School, recent alum of the Big Spring High School girls soccer team, and I just wanted to put a couple things out there. I understand that our numbers weren't that high this season with girls on the team, but it came to our attention that the reason for the coaches being asked to resign was because the numbers were going to be even less. But I wanted you guys to know that girls on the middle school team coming up to the high school team were asked to not join the high school team by the middle school head coach of the soccer team. I don't think that that is a fair reason to ask our coach to resign, as he's not the reason our numbers are depleting. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caitlin Alexander.
Good evening. I'm Caitlin Alexander. I'm a junior here at Big Spring. I have been involved in Big Spring's girls soccer program for the past 4 years. I decided to speak up tonight because when I heard the news of our head coach Kachera and our assistant coach Long being asked to resign, I was shocked along with others. Over the last 2 years, the girls soccer program has had many struggles, ranging from not having the numbers of players that are needed to not having the best record. However, I am here tonight to shed light on all the memories and the things Kachera has taught us throughout the years. As Kachera always says, it's not about what the scoreboard shows, it's the effort we're putting in that allows us to succeed. Kachera has not just taught me and others how to become a better soccer player, he has also taught us how to become a better person in life. Kachera has made an impact on the girls' soccer program. Along with that, he has made an impact on not just me, but everyone who has been involved in the girls' soccer program. Thank you.
Thank you. Kennedy Long, please.
Good evening. I am thankful for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Kennedy Long, and I am a freshman on the high school girls soccer team. It is one of your very own school board members, Mrs. Shade, who introduced me to the sport of soccer at the age of 7 and when my love for the game began. In the early years of my soccer journey, I played on co-ed teams through BSYSA. Although that is where I learned to love soccer, playing with boys eventually began to ruin my experience. Since there was not a girls' travel team through Big Spring, I had to go out of the district to find a team. Looking back on it now as a freshman, having played soccer up through middle school, I can see the detriment it had to our program that us girls never had the opportunity to play together on a club team. Soccer is not an easy sport. The knowledge and experience I gained playing at the travel level through various club teams is what enabled me to become a starter on the varsity team as a freshman. Although club ball was a great experience, I was constantly starting over with new coaches almost every season. Mentally, that takes a toll on an athlete. Feeling like you constantly have to prove yourself when a new coach finally comes along. The feeling of getting to know someone, having them be a big part of your life, for them to walk out and not coach you anymore. And believe me when I tell you that it takes more than half of a season to adjust and come together with your team, to learn how to play under a new coach. See, even though it was my first year on the high school team, Coach Kachera has been a big part of my life much longer than that. When I was a camper at Believe and Achieve, he was there. When I was playing for middle school, Coach was there on the sidelines. He reached out to me as an 8th grader asking me to play for the high school summer league. He was there when he held soccer clinics that allowed me to grow as a player. He saw potential in me when I didn't see it in myself. I have never had a coach who has cared about me as a person and not me as just a player like Coach has. It hurts me knowing that my time with him as my coach has been cut much shorter than I ever expected. And it hurts even more that it was someone who isn't even a part of the soccer program that's asked him to walk away. But Coach Kachera would never give up on us, and that's why he refused to leave. Not once was I asked how I felt about the coaches that were leading our team, because if they would have asked, I would have told them exactly how I felt. And that would have been that these coaches have been the best coaches I have ever had. We had coaches that were dedicated and cared about the game as much as we did. He reached out. He was there. He helped us grow, and really just showed how much he cared. That means something, more than any winning record, number of goals scored, or the number of players we had. That's why you can't put a number on a coach like Kachera, because he didn't do it for the wins, he did it for the love. So no matter what happens moving forward, I will continue to expose my film and develop as a player, because that's what Coach has taught me. Thank you.
Elena Trace, please. Thank you, Kennedy.
Good evening. My name is Helena Trez, and I've been playing soccer for 4 years, 2 of which have been on the high school team. When I heard that Kachera was going to get fired if he didn't resign, and we decided to come up here. I didn't really know what to say because the whole situation has made me speechless. But I can tell you that Coach Kuchera wasn't just a coach to us. He was a mentor, friend, and a genuine person. I hope that I would have had the rest of my high school season with him and Coach Long as my coaches, but I'm very grateful for the 2 seasons I had with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Claire Ryan, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Claire Ryan, and I'm here today to discuss the Big Spring High School girls soccer team. I've been a member of this team for a while now, as I'm in 10th grade, and I would like to share my opinion about the current circumstances the team is under. It started last when the team was called down to a meeting during our flex time by Coach Kuchera, where he then explained how he would not be coaching anymore. I've been informed that the athletic office has decided to open up the head soccer coaching position to the community. Kuchera has always told us that if there is someone out there who is better than him at coaching that wants to coach, that is what he wants for us. He would never try and hold us back in any way, shape, or form on purpose. He has continuously taught us through soccer and life lessons that we need to persevere and keep pushing ourselves. I've had many coaches over the years between basketball and soccer. When I was coming up to the high school team, I was nervous for the new coach I was going to have, but I knew that if I wanted to keep growing, I would have to figure it out and push myself past my comfort zone. I only started playing soccer when I was in 7th grade, when there was almost not a middle school team. My skill level was way below where you would expect a soccer player. However, I had determination, and that is what got me through my years of middle school soccer, because I was never properly taught the basic skills. Fast forward to me joining the high school summer league leading up to my 9th grade year. Middle school soccer had just ended, and I started going to practices with Kuchera right away. I was originally really scared because it was a bunch of high school girls who had been playing soccer since they were really little. Long story short, Kuchera spent a lot of time and energy on helping me overcome my shortcomings and work past them. He has always been there for me whenever I needed things inside and outside of the soccer realm. I am here to point out that I believe the situation that has occurred is unfair and uncalled for. I understand looking for new and better ways to improve our soccer program, which is something Kuchera has always taught me. I feel that if this is truly what our school wanted, then there were several ways that this could have been gone about without seemingly blindsiding Kuchera. I truly want what is best for the team, and I believe that Kuchera gave that to us every day that he coached us. He was there before every practice with a plan for the day. He maintained his physical fitness outside of soccer so that he could perform his best for us every day. He ran our sprints and long runs with us. He ran bleachers with us. He scrimmaged with us, and he did so much more than what I have ever seen a coach do before. I think this is just a fragment of what he has done to show his commitment for us, the team, and for us as people. I understand that what is done now, and he will not be returning. Something that I do not understand, however, is that if we needed to open up this position, why wouldn't it be the same protocol for all sports teams and coaching staff, especially the ones with similar records as us? I have asked people from the district, and I am still searching for an answer. As far as I know, coaching contracts are for a year, but then why is the term opening up the position to see who is out there being used in this circumstance when we can hardly find enough coaches for a team? Is this the same protocol across the board? If it isn't, then why is it just coming up for girls soccer at this current moment in time? Thank you for your time and have a good night.
Thank you, Claire. I'm going to ask the audience to give me a minute. Mr. Crystal and I are going to speak with Coach Kuchera and Coach Long out in the hall for a second. We'll be right back. this time, I'm going to give Mr. Long and Mr. Chair a chance to speak. They'll have 3 minutes just as well as everyone else. Mr. Long, you are first.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, assistant coach Justin Long, I've been with the program now. This is only my second year. I came on board with Coach Kuchera last season, and it's been awesome. His vision, with the girls and with the program, it was a vision of we are focusing on individual growth and team growth, and albeit, small growths, they were feats in and of itself, and we never focused on the scoreboard. And it was awesome to see these girls grow on and off the field. Really don't need to say much. I think the girls said a lot of it. I think the silver lining or the lining through all of this, I think the lessons learned that we can take from this is if we can, instead of one individual making a decision for a program, before that is done, if Kuchera and I will always tell you, we are not the best coaches out there. There are better coaches, and we want the best for the girls and for the program. And I think we have a ton of experience in this community, in this district, be it on the boys' side, on the girls' side. And I think if we come together as a collective and we can figure out, hey, how do we get more girls at a younger level to get involved in soccer? If we all put our heads together, that's where we need to be. And I think, the lesson learned through all of this is instead of, again, one person making that decision, let's come together as a community, as a district and say, hey, we want this soccer program to be strong, both on the boys' side and the girls' side. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Mr. Kuchera?
Thank you for letting me come back up. So this is actually overwhelming to me in a lot of senses. Overwhelmed by the support that I've felt and heard from players, parents alike, and I just want to take the time to thank these kids and thank these parents because they're why we're doing what we want to be doing. They're the reason we're out here trying to not necessarily further a soccer program, but be able to further them in their lives the way they're talking about up here. I think it's absolutely outstanding. It's been a very significant thing in my life since this has all been taking place, how you show that support and you're able to feel that support for the things that we've been trying to accomplish. You heard the way I was asked to leave. That's what happened. I was asked to resign. If someone tells you that didn't happen, that's a patent untruth. We'll leave it at that. But I think I'm here for these kids. Okay, I'm here tonight for these kids. I'm here every day for these kids. I'll continue to be here for these kids in their lives. But if you just listen to what's being said, it's almost, what is it? It's testimony you're hearing. You're hearing testimony. And I think that it's testimony against tyranny. I believe that's what that is. So I believe that what you're hearing is testimony against something like tyranny, but you're also hearing testimony in favor of something. And it's the same exact thing that these kids are offering. They're looking for what I think is just a ridiculous outcry for better leadership at higher positions in this district. So I want to thank them for speaking that truth forward. Thank you all for listening to me, and God bless everyone here.
Thank you, Jason. Mr. Porter?
Jason, just one question. You were working with the feeder teams to try to improve things from the ground up, were you not?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I heard rumors that you were working with all the local feeder teams and you were trying to devise a program to improve soccer from the base, clean up into high school. And I appreciate all the work that you did, and I'm definitely going to be looking into some things.
Thank you.
Just being transparent, Mr. Hippenstall and myself just met with a few coaches, shared a few things that gave encouragement, and said no decisions are being made. We're not voting on any coaching positions this evening for the soccer programs. As a board, we will digest this. We see the community support. We see the community input. We want to do what's best for our athletes and our students. So all that was shared out in the hall was that we were trying to get them to think about what they want to share to the community after the support that they were shared. So we'll see what happens from this point forward. Mr. Bob Keynes, please.
Good evening. I stumbled on this family blessing that I'd like to share with you. Lord of all, bless our families, be they formed by blood or by circumstance, make them holy. May we find you in our relationships, in our marriages, in our families, in our households, in our communities, in our global humanity. May we look across all that divides us and see family and embrace as a family does. And love as a family ought to. For where 2 or 3 gather in your name, there are you. Amen. This is my very final comment on global. Anyone here in 2017 when Portrait was created? Mr. Piper, I don't recall seeing anyone else here. The term global was simply a word that was an umbrella for the particulars of the portrait of a graduate. Nothing more, nothing less. It does not lessen our high American standards anywhere in the world. If anything, it escalates them and furthers them. The term offers the direction for the kids to be the best that they can be anywhere in the world. And we have kids that study over abroad, that teach abroad, that deal with global issues that the portrait has allowed them to get exposure to the global picture. That's all it is. We're not lessening any standards. I think it's ludicrous. I think it's a misinterpretation of the word global by some individuals that have escalated this topic to where it is. I think it's foolish. I think it's stupid that we spend this much time on this topic when we should be addressing so many more important issues. I ask that we can go on and deal with the more important issues. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bob. John McCray.
Mr. Wardle said at the outset not to mention any names. I think there were 7, 8, or 9 commenters who stated the name Kuchera and went on at length about him. How can I say anything about solicitors without mentioning names? Or about a stupid remark by a school board member concerning that very issue? Well, we'll see where it goes. I read a lawyer joke last week. You know why lab techs have begun to substitute lawyers for rats in all of their experiments? They find it's hard to get attached to lawyers. And besides, some rats won't do just anything. When I suggested a couple of weeks ago that I wouldn't be surprised if the Dylan McCandless firm started in on the 24 campaign as heavy as they'd done in the 2020, I was prescient with that statement. For members of the school board, that means knowing actions or events before they occur. Because in my remarks, not only did I predict the future, but I predicted the past and the present as well. The Butler Law Firm started their suits and their work on a lawsuit about the 24 election way back in April with the primary election. And Thomas King and his buddies tried to prevent the counting of provisional ballots cast by voters who had made a mistake on their mail-in ballots. They then appealed that to our first level of appellate court, the Commonwealth Court, and got shut down there. Then, rather than take yes for an answer, they filed a petition to appeal to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, which on the 23rd of October shot them down again. Almost immediately, they filed a petition for a stay with the United States Supreme Court. And on the 1st of November, they were shot down by that court as well. Their opinion, such as it was, included a page by Associate Justice Alito saying that the clients of Thomas King and his buddies had no standing whatsoever to come to the Supreme Court of the United States. I think this will be the last time I talk on the solicitor issue this year. But I may be back again. It'll be global citizenship in December, though. Thanks a lot.
You'll be happy to know that we won today in the Supreme Court, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
Thank you, John. Adam Oldham, please. This is our last part.
Last card. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. There's an expression that we sometimes use. You can't see the forest through the trees. And after watching several social media conversations take place this weekend, comment storms that got up over to 100 on certain posts, I think this expression is really important for us as a community to take to heart. If anybody in this room right now or anybody watching from home truly wants what's best for our students and for our schools, I'd recommend we all spend some time doing some real soul searching and reflecting in front of a mirror. Tonight we heard some incredible stories from some incredible students. We had somebody from our Career and Technical Center get up and talk about his experience. We had our volleyball team talk about their experience. We had our student representative talk about the Veterans Day program that we had this year. We learned that Bulldogs show up for each other. We learned that they build each other up. We learned that sometimes the scoreboard isn't really what it's all about. And I think every one of our students stood up here respectfully and spoke their mind about some hard things, articulately and respectfully, and in a way that really puts the rest of us to shame. As a parent and employee here, I'm proud of our school district. I'm proud of our students and I'm proud of our faculty. And in general, I'm proud of individuals who, when compelled by their conscience to speak, find within themselves the courage to do so. But that said, the kind of negativity and energy that's been lobbed around towards the district and towards one another has been shameful and embarrassing. And it doesn't provide the kind of example our students gave us tonight of what engaging in civil discourse should look like. This energy we've been experiencing here at Big Spring is not about left-leaning liberals versus alt-right conservatives. This energy is not about Christians versus non-Christians. This energy is not about democracy versus Marxism or global citizen versus American citizen. This energy is all about pride and ego. If you are more concerned about winning an argument, or more concerned about proving a point, or more concerned about feeling important than you are about the negative impact your words and actions have had and continue to have on our students, our faculty, our school, and our community, then you're not seeing the forest through the trees, and you're putting yourself and your pride above the common good. Public education is hard enough without stoking us versus them divisions. It's hard enough without invoking religion or pestering people at the polls or bringing up the personal business of our neighbors. As the good book says, if you continually bite and devour one another, beware that you are not consumed by one another. Put another way, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, let's tone it down, find more appropriate ways and places to air our grievances, and let school board meetings just be school board meetings again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam. That ends our public comment period. I'd like to give a special thank you to our student athletes and our students that spoke this evening. It takes courage, it takes perseverance, it takes preparation, and it takes a will to believe in something. You believe in something that's important to you. No matter what the outcome, you are stronger because of the experience and the opportunity you gave yourself and you gave this community to listen. Thank you. Approval of minutes. Need a motion to approve the big committee meetings for October 7th, the policy committee meeting minutes, finance committee meeting minutes, committee of the whole meeting minutes, and the board meeting minutes for October 21st as presented. Do I have a motion, please? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Shade. Any discussion? Hearing none, I assume everyone votes in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstain. Financial reports by our treasurer, Mrs. Shade, please.
Payment of bills. General fund procurement card, $25,330.96. General fund checks, ACH and wires, $2,436,802.34. Special revenue, $1,981.15. Capital Projects Reserve Fund, $100,018.00. Cafeteria Fund, $171,957.78. Student Activities, $43,058.38. Total amount of all funds, $2,779,148.61. Motion to approve the payment of bills as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to pay the bills as presented. Do I have any discussion from the floor? Hearing none, I assume that everyone votes in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstain. Under the Treasurer's Fund report, we do have reports from several funds there. General Fund, Special Revenue Report, Capital Project Report, Cafeteria, Student Activities Account Summary, Investment Report, Earned Interest Bank Fees, and Earned Interest YTD Student Activities. These reports are noted and will be looked into further before they are approved. Year-to-date General Fund Report and year-to-date taxes. The administration prepared the year-to-date General Fund Report and year-to-date taxes. These are reports that are noted. We are not at this time taking any action, but we are become aware of those taxes and General Fund Report. Moving on to old business. We have any old business from the floor? Hearing none, we'll move into new business. Under new business or personnel items, unless there is an objection, we will combine all new business personnel action items listed under 9 into one motion. This includes 9A through 9G. Do I have any objections?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes, Mr. Irving.
9E, I question it. We had both sides tonight. I saw there was an email today that it was explained to someone else, but not all of us.
Okay.
I'd like to hear it before I vote on it.
Okay, so since that is a personnel item for a particular thing, should we do that in executive session and hold that off until the December 20th meeting? Dr. Bronte, I want for advice from you on that.
Yeah, that's a board decision, and Mr. Over's not prepared to vote.
Okay, is anyone opposed to pulling out, I believe that was the softball situation, pulling out 9E for softball, and the rest will stay as permanent? Is that okay, Mr. Irvin?
That's perfectly fine.
Okay, is anyone object to the board that we would investigate this, possibly in executive session, and bring this back to the board possibly at the December 20th meeting? Is that okay with everyone? Okay? Then we're still going back to vote on all items under 9A through 9G, except for the softball position at 9E. Mr. Foreman, please go ahead.
I think you have to vote on the pulling of that out.
Point of order, well taken. Let's vote on an amendment to pull out the softball program position until we can have further discussion in executive. Mr. Ober, would you like to make that motion as an amendment?
Motion.
Thank you. Someone second that, please? Second. Mrs. Booth, with second. Any discussion from the floor? So if we pass this, we will be filling out the softball program position at this time, and then we will talk about it and possibly bring it back at the December 20th meeting. Does that hurt us in any way, Dr. Jonathan?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you. All right. Then we will vote on removing the softball program position as an amendment from the regular 9A through 9G. Anyone have any more comments? Hearing none, I assume everyone's voting in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstaining. Okay, that passes. Now we will go back to 9A through 9G for the personnel items. We had a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on anything else? Yes, Mrs. Booth. I'm sorry. Don? Correct me. Okay. I stand corrected. Thank you. So I need a motion to approve 9A through 9G, except removing the softball position in 9E. So, thank you for the motion. Mr. Myers, do I have a second? Mr. Corman, second. Any discussion on the other positions? Hearing none, I assume everyone's voting in the affirmative unless you hear a negative or abstaining. Motion carries. I would like to make just a comment. 9F and 9G were recommended approval of school police officers. I'd like to welcome Mr. Shane Coe and Mr. Kyle Slusher, who is already one of our sheriff people, but he's going to move over to our school police. We now have 3 school police officers. There will be a transition time that we need to work through with the sheriffs. We still have a contract with the sheriff's office. Dr. Durante is working diligently to move in a transition, but we are going from 2 SRO police officers that we had before to now 3 that is district employees as our school police. That will take some time. It's not going to happen immediately. Mr. Slusher is here every day, as well as Chelsea at the middle school, and so we had kind of 3 now, but now we will have 3 of our own. I'm very proud that the board approved that, and very proud that we are now having a more in-house direct police force. This was something that we worked very hard on. We had another round of interviews, and the 2 candidates rose to the top. So thank you, Mr. Kelly, for being here. And I think is Kyle here also? Thank you, Kyle. So very good. Thank you both for wanting to serve our district and protect our students and our faculty and everyone else. So thank you. Moving into new business, Action items. 10A, recommended approval of student trips and athletic team travel. I do have one correction, and that is printed on our list. It says the last one, middle school students, 7th grade social studies teachers to attend and participate in a geography meeting in Philadelphia on March 10th, 2025. If it reads 24 on your paper, it should say 25. That's a misprint. Do I have a motion for the middle school principal recommends the middle school students, middle school history club, middle school students to the geography meeting. Also, Mr. Penner, Director of Athletics, is asking for permission for boys wrestling program, girls wrestling program, girls wrestling program to travel. Do I have a motion for these student trips and athletic travel? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Foreman. Do I have any discussion from the floor? Hearing none, I assume everyone's voting in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstaining. Moving on to 10B, recommended approval of a one-year SRO agreement. Dr. Grande has reviewed the one-year school resource officer agreement with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the agreement as presented. However, in this agreement, correctly, Dr. Grande, please, there is a 30-day clause that we can terminate the one-year services if we see fit or they see fit, and that will give us then the opportunity to move directly into our 3 officers.
Yeah, you are correct.
Okay, so we are approving tonight a one-year agreement, but at some point that may be cut short with cooperation with the Sheriff's Department moving forward. Do I have a motion to approve this? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Shade. Any discussion? Hearing none, I assume everyone's voting affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstain. 10C, recommended approval of 2024 fundraisers. There are many listed there. Rodeo circuit ticket sales for the middle school FFA. Mr. Scott Penner, Director of Athletics. Gertrude Hawk-Sand, candy sale for the class of 2027. Benefit the class of 2027. On-field banner advertisements, email campaign, summer youth camp to benefit the baseball team. Also an email campaign to benefit the baseball team. Jersey sale to benefit the baseball team, and a golf outing on October 27, 2024, September 27, 2025 to benefit the baseball team. The administration recommends these fundraisers as presented. Do I have a motion, please? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Foreman. Any discussion? Hearing none, I assume that everyone votes in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstain. Moving on to 10E, recommended approval of Student Athletic Leadership Council and bylaws. Mr. Penner, Director of Athletics, recommends the approval of the Student Athletic Council and bylaws, which were reviewed by the solicitor, Mr. King. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the Student Athletic Leadership Council to be recognized as a club and approve the bylaws as presented. Excuse me. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Shade. Any discussion? Hearing none, I assume everyone's voting in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstaining. 10E, recommended approval of the Agriculture Advisory Council member roster. Mrs. Fulton and Mrs. Morgan Bear, our high school agricultural education teachers, have requested the Board of School Directors approve the updated member roster. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the updated high school FFA Occupational Advisory Council as presented. Do I have a motion, please? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Shade. Do you have any discussion? Hearing none, I assume everyone's voted in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstaining. 10F, recommended approval of capital project fund payments to McClure Company invoice for $52,968 from the capital project fund. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the invoice to be paid from the capital project fund. Do I have a motion, please? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Shade. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, I assume everyone's voting in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstaining. 10G, approval of resolution and attorney-client fee contract. The school solicitor Thomas King has invited the school district to participate in litigation involving insulin pricing as provided in resolution and attorney-client fee contract for consideration by the Board of School Directors. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Corman. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, I assume everyone's voting in the affirmative, unless I hear a negative or abstain. 10H, motion to contract with the Pennsylvania Principals Association for Dr. Janet Trimmer to serve as interim director for student services. In that position, she will assume all responsibilities as associated with job description 111. All services will be contracted through the Pennsylvania Principals Association at a daily rate of $500 per day. Dr. Durante, I believe this is the savings from what we are currently paying for a student services director. Is that correct?
Yeah, currently the contract is for BSS. This is the cost saving change contract.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve 10H? Motion, Mr. Myers. Do I have a second? Second, Mrs. Shade. Any discussion? Hearing none, I assume everyone votes in the affirmative, unless I hear a negative or abstain. That concludes the action items that we need to have this evening. The rest of the items are information. These may come up at a later meeting. School director training requirement, compliance with Act 55, Judy Booth, Seth Harmon, David Fisher, Mike Hickensteel, and Frank Myers and Lisa Shade have completed the required hours of training. Those were the ones that needed to complete that either as new members or as carryover members. Leave requests, there are a few there. Proposed updated policy 004.1, student representative board, first reading. Donation recognition, Big Spring School District received a donation of a Mark V complete workshop of the Future and Carlisle, Pennsylvania, which was accepted by myself and the superintendent, Dr. Durante, for use in the agriculture and technology departments of the high school. Also, we received a donation of butter from Land Lakes, which was accepted on behalf of Dr. Durante for the Family and Consumer Science program. Athletic participation, boys wrestling program to attend the Trojan Horse Tournament in Chambersburg. Agriculture Advisory Committee meeting minutes are attached. Board reports. Starting with Athletic Council, Mr. Ken Fisher, please.
Our next meeting, December 4th.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Building and Property, Mr. David Fisher.
Tonight, a list of potential projects for the summer, and our next meeting is on November 18th. Sorry, that's tonight.
We have another one scheduled, but we'll have that. Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Mr. Foreman, Capital Area Union.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Cumberland Area CTC, which I remember. I would just like to say that things are going well. Mr. Wolf is doing a great job as our new director of CTC. The building project is being rebid to try to save some costs. That's happening very soon. I will be attending the next meeting. We're having a workshop session on November 25th, and I plan on attending that. Dig Committee, can we move, please?
I just have an update that our disenrollment survey has gone out in the first email. So if you are in that time frame and have disenrolled your child from the district, you can check your email for that. And then the next one will be going out in about 2 weeks as a reminder to those who have not already filled it out. And our next meeting is until December 16th.
Thank you, Mrs. Booth. Mrs. Booth, Finance Committee, please.
Nothing to add for that.
Thank you. Future Ready Comp Plan, Ken Fisher. Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Policy Review and Development, Mr. Foreman.
We voted to update a few more policies, and we're looking at a brand new policy on data security and data retention. So we're waiting on some feedback from individuals that will be responsible for that policy, and then we'll forward it off to Mr. King then as soon as it's ready to go.
Thank you, Mr. Corman. Let's see, South Central Trust, Mr. Corman.
Nothing at this time.
Tax Collection Committee, Mr. Fisher. Wellness Committee, Mr. Corman.
Nothing at this time.
Future board agenda items from the floor. Yes, Mrs. Booth.
I have two things. One is I would like to direct to add a document to the next agenda, informational items, prepared by administration so the public can review it. This document should list the civic and government Pennsylvania standards by grade level. The list should be complete with the grade that we teach that standard, or indicated if it is not listed anywhere in our curriculum. This list should also include and identify optional standards from the state listed on the PDD Standards Alliance System website. This should be easy for the public to view and reference by the standard number and letter designation and a short description of the standard. And there should also be links available so that the public can then pull up the full listings of these standards to view closer. Also, I would like to add an agenda item for vote by the board for the next meeting to make the thought exchange results that we have done, and it can be all of the thought exchange results, because I've still not seen the one that we did to revise the fellow graduate. If we could make those publicly available on the website in preparation for the review of the strategic plan that's to happen in 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Booth. We'll directly to Dr. Durante, and he will work on this. Superintendent's report, Dr. Durante, please.
I'd like to thank all the students, staff, and community for wonderful Veterans Day celebrations in each one of our schools. Each was well attended and well deserved. Tribute to our veterans. One more extension of congratulations to our history making girls volleyball team. Enjoyable team to watch and a great representation of both our school and community. In addition to the volleyball team, two additional state qualifying individuals deserve recognition. Those are Asher Baker and Gavin Becker. Asher finished 59 and Gavin ended 94th in the state. Wayner. I was reading that and I was wrong. Gavin Wayner. Thank you for that correction. And those are both excellent representations of our school and community as well. And I think they're relatively young, so they got some years ahead of them in running. I'd like to thank Mr. Wolf for visiting us today from the CTC and Isaac Sullenberger for highlighting the experience and benefits of that program. The CTC has informed us that 11 individuals at the high school have been selected as students of the quarter, either in their shop or in their academic class. So those students will be celebrated at the high school level over the next several days. As a district, we strive to provide as comprehensive an education as possible. So building off of that CTC comment, students that don't go to CTC, we still try to provide workplace experiences for those individuals. So next week, we're going to have Monday, Tuesday, we're going to have some middle school, elementary conferences on those days. And then Tuesday, our high school staff is actually going to take a tour of local businesses. And the purpose of that tour is for them to become more aware of the expectations and maybe skill sets that are necessary for a smooth transition from high school into the workforce, if that's what our students prefer. That is going to be sponsored by the Carlisle Chamber of Commerce. As mentioned, we will not have school on Monday and Tuesday of next week for students, or Tuesday and Wednesday of next week for school students, and that break will follow through December 3rd. It's November, we're headed to a holiday, and on behalf of everybody sitting up here, our staff, and our entire school board, we wish everybody a very restful holiday break and Thanksgiving holiday. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Durante. Mr. King, we finally got your nameplate. Would you like to share anything from a solicitor standpoint, sir?
Would I talk? You want to talk?
Sure. I'm happy to report. Thank you. I'm happy to report that the Department of Education reached an agreement with us over the CRSC guidelines that I've talked to you about before. That resulted from a lawsuit that was filed and argued in the Commonwealth Court And during the argument that took place in the court, Judge Wojcik suggested that the parties ought to go to mediation. So Judge Ledbetter from the Commonwealth Court mediated an agreement by which the CRSE guidelines, which were really regulations, and by which districts were threatened to lose their subsidy, those regulations were agreed by the Department of Education to be revoked. So they are now revoked, they're no longer in effect, and there's no longer a threat to Pennsylvania school districts to lose their subsidy. So I'm pleased to report that. That's the result of litigation brought by several school districts in western Pennsylvania and successfully achieved through mediation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Board member comments, Mr. David Fisher, please.
Just a couple things here. I noticed when I was looking at the list of our students that are at the CPC that we've got 13 students in the youth program, which is the most students from our school out of any program. That strikes a bell for me because that's what I do on BSSD. So I'm going to go to work Wednesday and tell my boss that he's got 13 people for Big Spring and needs to go higher. And then another thing is soccer team. I heard what they said. That's probably the most information I have heard about personally. Something that they're going to be looking into based off of there. So those of you that know them, can let them know.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman.
I'm going to second the motions of the soccer team. So I think we're going to have to establish some sort of rule set that allows us to have the same type of scenario every time somebody is brought in or let go from athletics. So there needs to be a review process. The coaches need to be able to speak before it ever gets to the board. And maybe that will help alleviate any of these issues from happening further on. And enjoy you guys' Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ken Fisher, please.
I just want to say congratulations to the girls' soccer team. That was great to hear from them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Over, please.
Big Spring's the greatest. Thank you all, teachers, administrators, sports, kids. Keep it up. Happy Thanksgiving.
Very good. Mr. Myers, please. Thank you. Mrs. Shade.
From display this evening. For my fun facts and informational segment this evening, I thought I'd share a quick instructional walkthrough on how to navigate our online library system. Mr. Krebs is already on it, so I don't have to remind you there. Step 1, go to the district's website, select academics from the main navigation menu. Then, from the top drop-down menu, select library, which is near the bottom. Step 2, you're now on the library page, where you will see 2 options on the side, library restriction form or library website. If you'd like to enter the library, simply click on library website. Step 3, this image shows you what you will see once you select the library website. The text inside the red square presents you with 4 different options. Big Spring Elementary School Learning Commons, Big Spring Middle School Learning Commons, Big Spring High School Library, and then the John Graham Public Library. Step 4. This step depends on your previous selection. If you selected the elementary or middle school, the next page will instruct you to click on the computer image to search for books. The image I chose to display is for the middle school. If you chose to go to the high school, you'll be taken to a little different page where there is no computer to click on, but you will be presented with more information and several pre-descriptive hyperlinks. And the John Graham Library will take you to the Cumberland County Library System website. Step 5, when you click on the computer image from the elementary or middle school, you will be taken to the Follett Destiny page. The image I chose to display here is what you will see if you select the middle school. The middle school gives you 2 main navigation menu options at the top, Home, which is the page shown, and then Catalog, which allows you to do a search. I did note if you click the computer image through elementary school option, the Follow Destiny page, which is linked, actually pulls up all of the schools. So you will see the 3 elementary school options in addition to the middle school and the high school. I find the system to be fairly user-friendly and a pretty useful tool once you know where to find it. If you have some free time, I'd like to encourage everyone to check it out and see what it has to offer. And one last thing, I just want to say thank you to everyone involved in the Bulldog Experience newsletter. I love it. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, Mrs. Shea. Mrs. Booth?
I would just like to say there's a lot in this district to be thankful for. We heard tonight from a lot of very brave young women that some came through this district and are being raised up in this district, and I'm very proud of them. Sometimes it's hard to go out of your comfort zone and stand in front of a bunch of people and speak, especially on something that you know is right and you may get repercussions for. But I honor their ability to do that, and I admire that. It's very inspirational. I also wanted to point out that it was wonderful reading the resumes of the student interns in the aquatic program that we hired tonight. It was actually beautiful to see all these resumes that they made, and I know they've had a lot of help from staff, and I'm not exactly sure who all went into that, but I have a feeling that Mrs. Powell and Mr. Thompson, a lot of them as well as a reference. And I just wanted to give a shout out to them. It was very inspiring to see all of the things they had listed, all the things they had done, and the hard work they had put in, and how beautiful the resumes looked. So I'm very impressed by that. And I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. Take time to count the blessings.
Thank you, Mrs. Booth. Mr. Hurnsted?
Happy Thanksgiving. Also, I wanted to say congratulations to the girls volleyball team. That was the quarterfinals was my first volleyball game that I ever attended, and I'll be back to watch more volleyball games because they were very exciting, very fun to watch. The girls get into it, the crowd gets into it. It's just terrific. So thankful that I got to see that. I have nothing else.
Thank you, Mr. Hurnsted. As we close, and I would just like to say that I am thankful. I am thankful for each one of you, both here tonight and those that will view online, that have an interest in your school system. I'm thankful for our students. Last week I had the opportunity to serve Brussels sprouts and corn to our elementary students. That was my job. But I had a great time serving at Mount Rock, as well as several of our other board members and administration. I am thankful for the parents to take the time to transport, to encourage, and to work with their students, their children, to bring up the young adults. And I'm especially thankful for the community that shows an interest as taxpayers, as citizens, and as members that support our students, both as in athletics and our intercurricular activities. You know, next week, a lot of us will sit down to a family meal. We don't have a Thanksgiving as board members, maybe we should, or we don't have a Thanksgiving as an evening like tonight. So tonight is our Thanksgiving meal to be a family. To be a family that works together, that has a vision, that has direction, and that praises one another and supports one another. I hope that you will enjoy your family time and support and work with your family. A couple just housekeeping details. Our next meeting is just a reorganizational meeting. We will be electing our leadership at December 3rd at 7:30 p.m. There will not be a committee of the whole or any other business at this time conducted at that meeting. So we'll see you on December 16th if you wish to come to a regular committee of the whole and business meeting. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, especially those who gave comment. Do I have a motion to adjourn, please? Motion, Mrs. Booth. Second, Mr. Myers. There is no discussion. I assume everyone votes in the affirmative. Unless I hear a negative or abstaining, motion carries. Have a great day.